Hi there, and welcome to Apple World. Suge Knight, who possessed a record mark and marked probably the greatest names during the 90s, was perhaps one of the most dreaded figures in the American hip-hop scene. Notwithstanding his scary picture, you will have a hard time believing the agitating letter that Suge Knight sent from prison, and it seems he truly has it out for Snoop and is needing to demolish his life and drag him down with him. However, what is Snoop's take on Suge Knight's new shenanigans? Make certain to stay close by till the end for all relevant information on one of the more recent episodes of his digital broadcast, Gather Could. Suge Knight, the previous big shot, shouted out about his own life in all likelihood since he was tired of being abandoned after the new revelations. It's additionally notable that he has held on to hostility towards Snoop Dogg for quite a while in light of the fact that he is envious of Snoop's untouchable way of life and how he gave Snoop help during his preliminary during the 1990s. Which permitted him to keep away from an extensive jail term. The Maker, who was imprisoned, made a frightening allegation against Snoop Dogg, and the subtleties he uncovered during the open discussion could be sufficient to secure Snoop with Suge, had expressed that Snoop ought to have been serving an astounding 20 years in jail, putrefying since the police had neglected to see a huge clue in his M case. This person will affirm that Snoop a single shot the fella and killed him. He recorded him. I heard it to myself. The person needed to get it done. He got some bread, he obliterated the tape, and that is something so for me to ensure this fellow and put my own opportunity of state, to ensure this person don't be in jail to return back, an accomplice up with Michael Harris, who committed misrepresentation against me, and Elise said they going to attempt to tape Death Row and this ST, which is false, yet regardless of whether it was you should both attempt to return it once again to the rifle proprietor. You didn't address Death Row when you was waiting for capital L punishment. Then towards the finish of the clasp, as you would have seen it, seems Snoop Dogg is going despite Suge Knight's good faith with Michael Harris to take Death Row from him, which is undeniable why Suge Knight has it in for Snoop as it's doing his absolute best to uncover him. Show series with a plot that keeps everybody speculating until the end. On this specific night, the previous large supervisor of Death Row Records, who is as of now imprisoned, is still causing disturbances with his comments. Mac makes a few serious claims about Snoop Dogg that originate from a homicide case from the 1990s that have everybody talking, and he puts the focus on him. This turn transports us to the prime of West Coast hip jump, total with its ups and downs, uncovering long failed-to-remember stories and mysteries that are making individuals talk. It appears like all of us are holding on to see Snoop Dogg's response to these stunning cases and his best course of action. The show between these two goes beyond simple reports. It digs profoundly into an entrancing and complicated time of music history. Knight's record goes past what occurred in court. He likewise professed to have burned through $6 million to determine issues that emerged following the episode, including an individual endeavoring to coerce Snoop Dogg. Knight expressed this elaborate gathering with a confidential examiner to clear things up, which prompted disposing of a tape that might have been hurtful. Snoop Dogg protector likewise framed his rendition of occasions he examined about a showdown that gained out of influence and how he needed to shoot justifiably. In a meeting with Cam Capo News, the casualty was shot in the hip and shoulder bone by Malik, who endeavored to prevent him from biting the dust. The casualty's friends removed the gun, confounding the case and making it more challenging for the police to explore what occurred, and as I'm pointing out here, I discharged PW. Simultaneously, it's precisely steady with what I said. When he was turning, he got hit in the hip and in the shoulder bone, and tragically the one that went through his hip went through him and his shoulder. He takes off and he runs. We figure out that when he ran, he dropped. I don't have the foggiest idea what they said. It was 50 yards or 75 yards away. He dropped not too far off, and that is sadly where he passed on at the end of the preliminary, which is a critical piece. E of West Coast hip jump history. Snoop Dogg and his protector were excused from all charges. Their lawyers argued that they acted justifiably and referred to mistakes committed by the Los Angeles Police Division, and the mass response to this was helpful. This is a man, an expert, who took care of his business and safeguarded his client. He feels earnest regret, despite the fact that it was legitimate self-protection. He also assumes liability. He wouldn't be my ex-guardian. In the wake of saving my life, I'd keep him on finance and with me consistently, however much could reasonably be expected. It's a genuine free or pass on pulled off. I hear the responsibility is still proficient. What's more, he kept it genuine straight up, until he said you really want a break story was Swiss cheddar. After that, as of late, Suge Knight has likewise expressed that Snoop Dogg has a ton of trouble making sense of what to do with regards to Tupac's demise that terrible night in Las Vegas. The pioneer behind Death Row Records, who is now detained and was in the vehicle with Pac that evening, was shot in Las Vegas. Legends passing in an extreme meeting on his webcast gather call to the extent that the puffy circumstance I super truly got to have a genuine discussion with Snoop. He said, "I knew that Pokes did everything right by him by putting him on everyone's eyes on me talking about him and being genuine with him, and assuming it's actual what they express up close and personal, it will be a ton of making sense of to do." Suge likewise answered Warren G's remarks on Savor Champ, in which he recalled how, when in Los Angeles, he and Snoop found that the Tupac shooting was occurring through a nearby radio. The main way you would have a radio is in the event that he was at the battle with us and he had a security detail. Knight said, "Not having a security detail, how are you doing on the radio? How could you have a play-by-play on the radio before we go any further into the video? What are your folks' considerations in this whole circumstance? Has Suge Knight been experiencing reality with regards to Snoop around Homie Wild in the slammer, and that he ought to truly be confronting jail time for himself for his past activities? Or is he grasping at straws and remarking down underneath another explanation that this got such a colossal conversation is the truth?" Snoop Dogg professed to be at the medical clinic when Tupac was shot in Las Vegas and saw him in cylinders, and when we get with SH, he's not letting us know its seriousness. He's letting us know like cuz he had chance in the head, however he's sitting up here conversing with us, he got the head wrapped up, and he letting us know what occurred, and you realize Pac going to be okay. He gonna get through. You realize he had chance multiple times before he going to be okay. He going hit me in the head, so we fuck. Ealing like it will be okay until we go to the emergency clinic and see that it ain't good. He got cylinders, and he mean it resembles when I strolled in. I could simply feel like he wasn't even there, as it has been realized that on various meetings Snoop Dogg has showed up on his story appears to change setting as far as how the situation transpired, and various fans have gotten on this with various postal Snoop discussions cap. Didn't he say before he left the emergency clinic, and Pac was great and afterward unexpectedly Pac passed on Snoop. Ain't only a liar be genuine Snoop like you generally guarantee. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.